Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do another one of my history videos on the history of field gear. This one is going to be the Desert Camouflage Uniform of the United States military. The Desert Camo Uniform was a standard uniform that was issued to all branches of the United States military, which is Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and our friends at the Coast Guard. It was issued in the mid-90s to the early 2000s. It was very similar to the Woodland BDUs. The only difference is the camo pattern. It was made up of a three-color desert camo pattern, dark brown, pale green, and beige, as opposed to the pale green, two tones of brown, black, and white rock spots of the battle dress uniform, which was the desert battle dress uniform, which was what this camo pattern replaced. It was in production from 1989 to 2012. It's seen action for the most part in the early years of Iraq and Afghanistan, as it was replaced by the ACUs around 2005. It was developed in the 80s and produced in quantity in the 90s as a test pattern. It didn't see anything really to speak of in the Gulf War. They were still wearing the chocolate chip then, which was the six collar, which was known as the DBDU. Sorry guys, I'm a little off tonight. Which we know as collectors as the six collar, which was used during the first Iraqi war, during the Persian Gulf War. They did issue a few sets of DCU towards the end. I believe Norman Schwarzkopf, the commander of the war, was issued a M65 field jacket and a complete set, which that brings up an interesting thing. I'm not sure out of everything I've ever had if I've ever actually had a actual M65 DCU. So if you have one of those, shoot me a picture of it. I think I actually had one, but it was actually a reproduction, I found out when I went to sell it. So in 1992, the first wide-scale batch of DCUs were issued first to the United States Army, which is normally how that works. Then the Air Force, which is kind of surprising. And then started replacing that. In 1993, the United States Navy and the Marines started replacing their six-collar with the three-collar. And they did that from 93 to 95. First fielded in 91, the DCU served the United States Army primary desert camo pattern from 1992 to 2004. In June of 2004, the Army started the UCP program, or as we know it, the ACUs. In late 2004, some U.S. Army soldiers deployed in Iraq were issued a close combat uniform, which was very similar to DCUs, but featured a lot of ACU deals like Velcro mods. We basically call those DCU modded tops in the business. And I'm not sure exactly how many of those were issued. I've seen a bunch of them, and they're very common around here, with the fact that a lot of the major bases during that time functioned here, and a lot of folks were training at Camp Atterbury and Muscatatuck and Fort Knox. So that was doing, and with Campbell not being but 4 hours away, you're going to get, a lot of that up this way. In 2005, the DCUs and BDUs began slowly being discontinued. The wear out date was, I believe, 2006, 2007. Let me know what the actual wear out date was for your unit. By 2008, everybody was in ACUs. The Marine Corps followed the Army and the United States. Marine Corps began issuing the DCUs in 1993 through 1995. Became the standard uniform in 1993. In 2002, the U.S. Marine Corps began designing the MARPAT pattern, which we're all very familiar with. In 2005, the MARPAT officially started rolling out. The Air Force started issuing their DCUs in 92, and it was the primary uniform until 2011 when the Blueberries, or excuse me, I'm sorry, not the Blueberries, but the ABUs, Rum Branch, started appearing, which was basically a very similar version to the ACUs, but with no stinking Velcro. They were the smart ones. The Navy started issuing them from 93 to 2010, being replaced by the Blueberries, which have now been placed with the new woodland pattern that the Navy is using. So that leaves us one branch left, and that's the United States Coast Guard, which, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the Coast Guard still uses DCUs. And that's what my research has came up with too. But the Coast Guard started sometime in the 90s, and as early as 2010, the DCUs were still being issued to members of the Coast Guard. And unless I'm wrong, like I said, I think they're still being used. A lot of foreign countries use Star DCUs, which is pretty standard, you know. The foreign aid programs, they used it. And they were passed through and through. So, real quick, I will plug that if you haven't checked out my other videos, please do so. And if you get a chance, I'm giving away an Xbox One in February. Go check out that video on there about the Xbox giveaway. And that would definitely be something for you to check out. Thought I had some more interesting DCU facts here. But apparently, I do not. I've got a lot of videos going on, and my paperwork as usual. As the folks that know me know, I travel a lot, and I try to do my research while I'm on the road and print it when I get home, and sometimes that fails me. So I will do a couple more history videos here very soon. The next one I'm going to do, which my printer failed me, so that's not going to work, but I'll have to print that later, is going to be on the Garand, the M1 Garand. I have been lucky enough to own a couple of those. So shoot me some M1 Garand videos, or pictures, I'm sorry, not videos, but shoot me some pictures of your M1s, and I will pick the best one to use as the thumbnail for my M1 video, because I don't have any decent pictures and I can't find anything online that isn't crazy or copyrighted. So if you come up with something on that and you have one, shoot me some pictures in my email, or just send them in the comment section, and I will pick the best one. So you guys have a good night, and I will probably shoot a few more videos tonight on military careers. So you guys have a good night.